Hi, my name is Phil Cates. I'm a Michigan State University Extension educator, and I focus on forages and cover crops. We're here today on Clearview Farms with Brian DeMann. And Brian, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your farming operation.
Yep, sure, Phil. We milk 550 cows, have raised all our own replacements here on the farm. I'm the third generation. My grandparents started this farm over 60 years ago, and then my dad and uncle are second generation. Now I'm the third.
Terrific. Well, we're really here to talk about cover crops today. And with cover crops, we're part of the MMPA program. And how long have you been using cover crops on your farm, Brian?
We've used cover crops for over 30 years. Primary cover crop would be cereal rye. It just seems to be the easiest to use after a corn crop. But we've also used tillage radishes, clover, triticale, and other things after wheat harvest.
So most of those cover crops that you mentioned are dual purpose, but the cereal rye is something that you're focusing on for feed for what type of livestock?
Yes, primarily heifers is what we feed this to. If you can put it upright, we've had good enough rye to feed dairy cows as well, higher protein. But typical rye cover crop that we're harvesting, we're in the 12 to 13 protein, and it's a good filler for heifers without being too high in protein.
So what kind of yields can you expect on a field of cover crops year in and year out? Every year is different, but we know that it's certainly a part of your program that you feed to those heifers.
Yeah, exactly. Average yield, I'd say we see 3 to 4 ton an acre on a dry matter. Good fiber to it, and like I say, kind of average protein, so really what you like to see in a good heifer, ration. And decent digestibility, as long as you get it, like in the boot stage. Not once it's headed, we've had some of that go out that far due to weather and things like that, then your quality and digestibility go down. But if you're in that boot stage, it's still pretty good digestibility as well.
Brian, one of the things that every dairy farm has to deal with is manure. And how does manure fit into this program with cover crops and harvesting? Do you put manure on prior to the crop going in?
Yes, we do manure prior to going in. And if we get a chance in the spring as well, we'll put it after harvest, right before the next crop.
And when do you like to harvest?
Typically we like to harvest the first week of May, or wherever the stage of the crop is. But usually, quite often, it's been end of April, first week of May has been a good timing, and then it doesn't delay our corn planting.
Brian, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is there are always successes and failures on some extent, no matter what we do. What are some things that you think have worked the best for you, and then some things that maybe have not worked as well as you would like them to work in the past?
Well, Phil, like I said, we're kind of limited with how we corn silage harvest and things like that, and what we can do. We've played around with a little bit more after wheat now that we've been able to try that a little bit. But so we haven't been able to try a lot of different things. Cereal rye, again, still is about the easiest thing to come back to, but one thing that we was able to do in 2020, after wheat, we planted some triticale, and we got it in early in July. And we were able to get one cutting of it in the fall, and then we fertilized it again in the spring of 21, and was able to get a nice second crop off of that. So that was something, if we can get cover crops in earlier, and the potential to get 2 crops off of that, that was a lot of feed off of that.
So one of the things that you've been able to do is participate in this program with MMPA. Do you think other farmers should participate, and why do you think that? Absolutely.
I think just having this green cover crop on the soil at all times, we're preserving soil. We're slowing erosion, stopping erosion. We're just building a better soil, better organic matter for crops. And then whether you use it for feed or not, the feed is kind of a nice added bonus. Like I said, I would just plant it just to build organic matter and build soil.
So you've seen an increase in soil tilth and quality on the farm here?
Yeah, absolutely. The root mass of cereal rye is just unbelievable. We've had it actually plug tiles before. It's that good. Some fields we can just, if we're not going in with manure, we'll just burn it off and no-till into it. It is some of the best soil to go into.